Today I want to talk to you about project costing and how much does it cost to do a certain project from a construction standpoint. Sometimes we work with clients with two different methods. Well, actually three. The three methods is to come out and do a guarantee maximum price quote, which means that we look at the project and we assign a value to the quote. Let's say we have to remodel a house. And we say, okay, we're going to charge you $150,000, $200,000, and that's our price. That's all inclusive. These are the inclusions, these are the exclusions, and we will do the project turnkey for $150,000. So that's one of the ways. There are two other, that's the most common way. There's also other ways that can help protect the client in regards to advancing monies or control the quality of the product. And those are cost plus and also a project fee. So cost plus is where you say to the client, okay, I will do the work for you, but whatever you spend on materials, I will include an additional percentage for us for the purchasing of the materials, delivery, selection, test fits, and so forth. And the other part is the labor. For the labor, you also get a percentage. And that's for managing the subcontractors, picking the correct contractors, bringing the quality, the value, bringing those resources that we've been working with for a while to the job. So that's the cost plus. The project fee is a third option, and that's when you look at a job and you say, okay, well, I know what you want, and in order for me to manage that job, I will charge you, let's say, $50,000. So you want to do a job, the scope is X, A, B, and Z, and C. I will charge you $50,000 to run the project, and it'll take about this long. And so those two last ways I mentioned, they are actually pretty secure to the client, because at any point they can stop the job and they can, if you're not performing, they can just basically get rid of you and bring somebody else in. That protects them from having to pay a 10, 20, 30%, even 50% on down payment on a job. So if we're talking about a $150,000 job, forking out, $30, $40, $50, $75,000 is going to be very dangerous, because, unless they know this contractor very well, that's not recommended. And personally, as a contractor, project manager, I would never recommend somebody to pay 50% on a job, no matter what. I think that's just nonsense, and that's where a lot of people get burned, because people just leave the country, the city, and they just disappear. And so that's never good business. Anyway, so I wanted to make this video just to show a little example of what we do and how we handle projects. A lot of people out there, they start a project, they tell the client, okay, I'll do cost plus, or I'll do a fee, or I will do, a guarantee maximum price for the job, but there's no visibility into the future. So let me tell you let me clarify what I'm trying to say. Let's say you go to a car dealer and you buy a car that's $70,000. You get to touch it, you get to drive it, you get to see the specs, you get to play with it, you can open the trunk, the hood, you can go look at reviews, you can talk to people that own the same type of car, and you can get a pretty good idea of what you're buying for that 70 grand. But when it comes to a remodel or a repair or an addition or a new construction, you can never know entirely what you're looking at unless you come up with plans and you look at the plans, you study them, and you have the capability to visualize what it is that's going to be built. And so when you work with a contractor, you don't know exactly what you're going to get at the end, but you do know that you're spending a whole lot of money, probably in excess of $70,000, sometimes even $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a remodel or new construction, or even more depending upon the location where you are. But so how does the owner get satisfaction, and how does the owner know what he's getting at the end? And so that's actually one thing that we do better than most, and that's what sets us apart from other construction companies, project management companies. and the reason for the video. I wanted to show you what we do to help the client see, to guide the client. And so there's a few things we do, in our office with our cost controls to help the client visualize what it is that he's spending all this money on. So I want to show you some spreadsheets that we do that help the client see and understand what it is that they're going to go into. Right here, I just did a little small example of cost plus on just some numbers. So let's say you have a project, and the project is a framing. So we're going to frame a house, small project framing. So the labor is going to cost, let's say, $10,000. So the fee, let's say we're doing a 20% cost plus. So 20%, that means that we take the labor and we add 20%, or $2,000. So the entire amount will be 12. So the contractor will make $2,000 on this to coordinate the labor, to bring the people he knows and provide value to the client. So the materials, let's say the lumber is $25,000 to purchase, okay? So 20% on 25,000, it's $5,000. So at the end of the day, the contractor will make $7,000 on this job. For the same token, you can also do a project fee and just tell a client, okay, you buy all the materials and pay the labor, and I'll coordinate and manage the project, and I'll charge you $7,000. So this is kind of like an extremely basic, idea of cost plus versus project fee. For a job like this, one person might charge 25 plus 10, which is 35, plus more than 7. So the job will not be $42,000. 7 plus 25 plus 10, I think that's 42. So for a job like this, you might charge, let's say, $50,000. So going with cost plus is always very safe for the homeowner. And going with a project fee is also safe for the homeowner, but a lot of companies are not doing that because they know they're missing out on monies when they work with these two ways of charging. So let me show you what we are doing to help the owner visualize what it is that they're spending all these monies on. So one of the ways we help the client visualize what it is that they're doing is by providing various types of renderings. These renderings were done for a client in Houston and in Kima, Texas. This particular one in Lake City is an athletic center for the city. So this is much better than just looking at a flat surface, blueprints, and just trying to decipher, how things will look. This is our page. It's called Artisan, ACAD.com. Not sure if you can see it. So that's one of the ways. If the client is very much into wanting to really see what it is that they're going to be getting, we can also produce videos. We can produce something like this that shows the client what it is they're getting. We can do various perspectives and a camera view and walk. We can produce renderings and various other things to assist the client visualize before they spend a lot of money on construction, okay? So when it comes to the money, which is a really important aspect, or one of the most important aspects of the project, we help the client by producing various spreadsheets. Usually we sit with a client and we ask a whole bunch of questions. We ask various concerns that they have or inclusions that they want to have on the project. This area here is for the project manager to follow up on and to identify issues. And on this one in particular is for the architect for us to address with the architect. Once we get some basic information, we want to find out what components of that particular item are going to be engineering, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, gas, which is plumbing, but we set it apart because this particular job is very, very much different from others. Fixtures for plumbing, framing concerns, door concerns, window schedules, and wall coverings. So we identified everything that's that's related to this type, so we can address it on the plans. That way we make sure we get everything on the plans and they become as clear as possible, so the architect can go ahead and produce drawings that are more inclusive, which are essential to getting a great price or a consistent price from the subcontractors. That way we don't have any change orders, or we eliminate or reduce change orders on the jobs. Once we produce drawings, we go ahead and contact subcontractors. And we manage them through this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet basically says, okay, here there's the subs, and do we email the plans? Is there something important that needs to happen? Are they not quoting? Are they quoting? And did we receive the quote? And who got the job? Who got the award? Here we just have communications with the clients, like step by step. We spoke to this person on this date, and this is what they said. This person is coming here at this date, and so forth. When we speak to somebody, we actually note it here, saying, okay, we spoke to this person on this date, and this little X there tells me, okay, I have 13 follow-ups to do today. Basically this adds all these X's, and these X's appear based on the date. So let's say I change this date, to whatever, another date, and let's say I change it to 10/19, well, the X will disappear and it'll be reduced from that. So that tells me, that helps me track all my subs and make sure I stay on top of them. Once we get all our subs in line, we produce a cost controls, which is a schedule and cost on the same spreadsheet, basically. Right here, we're seeing our critical path in Excel. We're seeing our activities. We can visualize what it is that we're doing, when it's happening, who is responsible, how many days, when it starts, when it ends. And we can see what things are overlapping. So on that day, I know two different contractors are here. And so I need to, manage them and call them on that particular day. This is very helpful to help me run the job smoothly. That way I don't end up with 5 guys here one day and they're not able to work on top of each other. And this is phased out through the project scope. So on this particular one, we're running in at 20 some weeks. So we'll lay it out all the way into the future. Okay. And so that's the other thing that's good, because we have total control, and also we assist with the money. So these columns here are hidden, and we can open them up to show the money, so we can actually see how much this job is going to cost. And we track our actuals, our estimated versus actuals versus any overruns. And that way we can adjust for any deviation, so that way we can stay on schedule and on point with the cost. As far as drawings, we work with various high-level architects in the city of Houston that have worked for large companies such as Technip and other large companies, and they produce very good drawings, very detailed drawings, very professional drawings that can assist in the most difficult tasks at the job. So, for example, on this job, we're going to have a beam, a glulam beam that's 22 inches. 22 inches is huge. It's from about here to about here. And that installation is a little bit difficult for residents. So by having this 3D, view, makes it so much easier for me to explain it to the framers. And at the same time, because, it's easier for them to see, they're going to give me a lower price, They're looking at it. They see how everything comes in, the headers for the stairs and the bases and the trusses, and they can actually see it. They're able to visualize it, and that way they can give me lower prices. This is definitely proven. When I have 3D models, I make the job seem easy to the subs. Therefore, I can save my clients money. That's really important. These plans, we got them through the city of Houston through One Stop. So we were able to have these plans approved in one day. I don't want to show the project number, but this was approved through fast track, and it was done. It was not easy, because once you go to the city to do fast track, it's not easy, but it was done in one day. So total for that with the client and everything else, it took about a month and a half to sit down with the client and just iron out details and whatever and do all the work. So anyways, that's a long video. It's actually 15 minutes right now. So that's a long video, but I wanted to share with you some information in regards to cost plus, the capabilities, and how to track a project. If you have any questions, or if you need some help, if you're a contractor, if you're a homeowner, if you're an investor, and you need some help with the spreadsheets that you just saw, I'll be willing to share those with you. It'll make your life easier. If you need some consultant services, that also available. I used to work for EPC projects in oil and gas, so I know how to track all the costs, how to track projects to make sure that things don't get out of control and things go smoothly on jobs, whether they're small or large. Anyways, guys, thanks so much. Artisan Construction, Architecture, and Design, signing out. Take care.